Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, and everything else, ladies, gentlemen, and other. This is Living World of Darkness, Mage of the Resurgence. Finally back again after I being a lazy twat for like 2 months. You could judge me for this. Judging done, excellent. Now we are today with lovable Jack. That's his name now, lovable Jack. He's the former Reverend turned trauma victim is has had a lovely time just taking a walk through the city. Maybe is on the way to Prospect Park, and just before he enters it, he had an encounter with just a random homeless person just grabbing onto him, searing a golden mark into his forearm, or yeah, into his forearm, and spouting off some kind of strange prophecy into his face before suddenly going back to normal. That was certainly a weird experience, I'm sure. And we're going to start the scene right after that's happened, and you suddenly have a circular golden mark on your arm that's there. You can now react to this new development.
Um, so he's recently had some number of weird, similar things happen to him in the street. So he's going to assume that it is something important, and he's going to, this sort of series of rather sort of nonsense prophecy type thing that doesn't really make any sense. So he will, he's going to go back to the chantry.
Excellent. Are you looking for anyone in the chantry? Because the horse formerly known as Glitterhoof, Jenny
Yeah.
the Abomination, and Simon are all there, keeping.
No, he's going to go to the spirits.
He's going to go to the spirits. Sounds much wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you are setting up communication by yourself.
Yeah, specifically what he's going to do is he's going to go and he's going to build a series of improvised wind charms out in the back garden.
Excellent. Now you sweet time building wind charms. I will say that's a -1 for difficulty because you're building wind charms.
Just just sort of using coat hangers and string and knives and forks to commune with the wind spirit.
Yep.
And mage dice roller. Well, that would be a fail.
You can attempt again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is 2 successes.
Ooh. So yeah, it should be pretty decent to set up communications and everything. As the wind, you can suddenly start hearing voices coming through the wind chimes from the spirit world. You can hear not only the wind elementals speak. They're not speaking to you directly at the moment, or you just hear the hubbub of spirit chatter, as it were. You can even hear the proud dandelion spirit you rescued, even though it's very faint because it's inside of that. It's a bit away from you, probably. So, are you going to ask any questions? What's your thing here?
He's going to ask spirits, what have you heard 3 unending pillars of masked hunters and minions of despair and deluded children of the knowledge seeker?
Spirits will we go silent a little bit, and then you can get the impression of there's someone like, should I go, or until you can hear voice of one wind spirit just beckoning through the charms and saying that these titles are masks for hiding something dark. That's his first thing. There are 3 cancerous growth within the city seeking to spread and twist it into something worse, or behalf of something even greater. You will also hear it mentioned that lowly gafflings, lesser spirits, have started to being hunted down by some kind of new force invading the local penumbra.
Oh, Spirit, what do you mean by such force? Is this
The
creatures? Is this other spirits?
creatures taking a human shape, strange, not composed of proper ephemera, not even. They're like lights and numbers made into people. They're not of here.
Are the numbers one? In fact, the wind won't know what a 1 and a 0 is. Do you know where in the city they're coming from?
That's the thing. They just appear in the city. They don't just. They not only do they show up, but they don't come from a singular point. They emerge for most part in Brooklyn. That's where they seem to be spreading out for now, and
And
they're considered
Spirit,
a minor threat overall, but they are interlopers.
and Spirit, do you know where the three pillars, the hunters, the minions of despair, and the knowledge seeker, do you know where they lie?
They don't lie in one place. They hide too well for that, but they are in many. They spread through the city. Uh, you can hear some stopping for a second, and you will hear another spirit chime in. You may have encountered them before, if spirit gossip is correct. This does not have the kind of regal tone of a wind spirit. This seems to be something else, something a bit more sweet talking and swift talking at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, that's it seems to be. It seems to be you guys have run into these people before, both in a direct and an indirect sense.
Tell me what they are, O Spirit. I do not understand.
Thing, they are. I don't. They're hard to get a read on. They seem to be humans, but not mages for the most part. Some are, but most are people. People touched by other things and channeling rights more inherent to the world. There, one is the children of despair are ripping pieces of the gauntlet out and merging them into people, creating abominations like you have in your garden.
I
Example.
understand. They are one. So they are one part of the.
Trifecta? It says. It, the spirit world is the hard pressed, and with these new interlopers, it's harder for us to get a read on them. Which is why I'm here, the spirit says. I'm an emissary from King Asphalt because he's asking you, and at the same time asking your patron, your powerful patron. You can hear a bit of a chuckle from her voice for a second before it goes back. If your services could be lent to help out in that matter. Local asphalt spirits are being exterminated not too far away from your home here. But since you're in a garden, not exactly the most asphalt friendly place to go, which is why I'm in here.
I will come.
I'm
I will come and speak to you on the path. One
well,
moment.
I'm just an emissary, but
Then where do you wish for me to go, Spirit?
any road, any paved road is enough. He can talk to you more directly there. And on the ground, like you can actually see out of the one of the wind chimes. It's almost like it's crying drops of wood sap or something similar, like it's
Hmm.
just like falling down. This salve will help you stay connected outside of here, so you don't have to constantly force your perceptions into
Do
this
I?
world.
Would it be easier if I crossed over to the other side?
That would also help, but I will warn you that while most spirits consider these new interlopers dangerous, they might be dangerous to a human. But yes, please cross over if you do that instead.
Okay. Um. So what Jack will do is he will take his axe, his bowl, and he will walk over to the pond, um, and he will fully immerse himself within the pond, um, to the point
Uh,
so he'll fully like plunge down. Um,
uh, Before, right as you plunge down, Jenny is going to mention something about like you hope you're up for like checkers later.
and yeah, his until he needs all of his body to be basically he'll try and lay down in the pond as much as he can, at least get his head and chest or back in contact with the mud of the pond, um, and hold his breath for a moment before coming back up to cross over.
Yeah, you know what to roll for. Since you're actively dirtying yourself and fully submerging yourself underwater, the effort of trying to cross over to the other side, I think actually is worth -2.
So that's
'Cause
one success.
yeah. I mean, that's
Two, isn't it three successes to cross over?
excellent. You float over very nicely. You can. It's like it's almost like the earth and the pond itself is swallowing you, and you're kind of just merging with it through the gauntlet
Mm-hmm.
until you
So
stand on.
the point is for the effect is he becomes one of that and then he emerges through the water on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you come up in the spiritual reflections, and the house is as you've expected. You see, there's a dog spirit roughing there because there's some guardian dogs in the area. So a dog spirit is taken to laying about in the chantry area. There's some imprints of Jenny, so like minor tentacled abominations. You see several wind spirits that are floating around with chimes. They're having a grand old time. And in the garden, in a very New Yorker kind of outfit, he's like in a hat. He's an older, dark-skinned dude who looks like kind of like a satyr. He has kind of like a satyr legs, but one is partially metallic,
Mm-hmm.
and he has pan flutes on his side, and he's like in a very like nice trench coat and everything. And of course, his eyes are alien, glowing, rainbow-colored irises. Of this is a spirit after all.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
You look like no spirit I've seen before.
well, I've been around, kid. I'm the New York emissary, what some people call me, or the sleeping diplomat. That last title. Don't use that, please, because it's a bit insulting. Just because I enjoy naps and dreams sometimes doesn't mean I'm bad at my job. I'm a mediator that other spirit kings and courtiers can call upon to resolve disputes. That's why I'm sent here to find you.
Okay. I
And with that,
will.
my job is done. He snaps his fingers because he just dematerialize in the mist. Float away.
Yeah. Going to head out to where the umbral reflection of the road is.
Yeah. And you can see that there are several cracks in a lot of the roads now. Like, it's almost like someone is. And it's very weird because in the umbral, like, you've seen bad roads before, but in the umbral sense, it almost looked like someone had taken a butcher knife and carved out chunks of asphalt like flesh out of the road,
Mm-hmm.
leaving it just stranded about on the ground. And you can hear wheezing and pained moans from the bits on the road and the intact one. Whereas you know that in the real world it's fine. so far. Um, and as you step out into the road, a large, very regal-looking golem-like form rises up from the asphalt. A crown with bits of fire in between the rock rises up from its head, and it looks down on you. He's not as titanic as he was the last time. He's only like 6 meters tall, as opposed to like the 12 he was last time. You've seen
Lord,
King Asphalt before.
it was Lord Asphalt.
Yeah, Lord. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
That was King Cardboard. I'm mixing the
Yeah.
titles. My bad. Lord Asphalt. Lord Asphalt nods to you.
I'll take the. In fact, no, I won't have anything in my pockets because it's not dedicated other than my axe and bowl. So, Jack will go to try and get something out of his pocket to burn an offering, but there's nothing there. So he will look a bit awkward before genuflecting before Lord Asphalt.
Thank you. Thank you. My dominion is experiencing a hard time, as you've heard from the hired help. So his voice doesn't boom this time. It's much lower and softer. He's kind of looking about. I might have neglected to inform you that asphalt spirits are not, despite being very numerous, most of my kind are not powerful, even in a city like this, a city of concrete and asphalt, as far as you can see. And recently, there's been attackers. They've not attacked others as well, but many of my subjects are suffering, and they have begged me to help. But as great as my powers are, I have it's more difficult for me to intercede in individual cases. And since this
What?
has not become a major issue yet, I can't directly interfere with these interlopers.
So, what do you need of me, Lord Asphalt?
Well, first I need you to investigate it more. The spiritual grapevine is confused about them. They are creatures of ones and zeros and sparkles, not even like computer spirits. Something more alien than that. Wandering the umbral scape for times and then disappearing out of nowhere, and then coming back to the same spot they disappeared from. They seem to only really care about slaughter and meaningless conquests.
I will do what I can, Lord Asphalt, but I do not see how I could know more about this than anyone. It
Maybe
seems really strange.
it is strange, but your human mind might pick up something that us spirits have forgotten. I'm a younger spirit than most, and I know that experience can be just as limiting as it can be rewarding. Your patron has agreed to let me ask you directly for the service, but she has negotiated that I both have to pay her and you for the job, as it were.
I require no payment, Lord Asphalt. It is an honor to serve. Simply tell me where I need to go, where these things were last seen, where you last heard of these things in your domain.
It will close his eyes for a few moments and say, "The roads, 2 streets down from here. There are two of them there, apparently. They've just menaced a local rat spirit, I think, if my followers are being clear about it. I'm ordering them to try and remain inconspicuous for a moment. We're gonna go 2 roads south from you, from here. We'll sniff at you for a second and look down. And look at your arm. Curious. And then he will sink back into the road.
Jack will look, and what does the golden mark actually look like? I realised that
In,
it was.
in the golden, yeah, they just a round in the Tellurian. It's just a round golden circle. It almost looks like a birthmark, except it's gold, like
Yeah.
literal gold. It's not yellow. But then in here, it's more interesting than that. In the penumbra, there's a slight ethereal glow coming off from it, and
Hmm.
it's producing heat onto your arm. Like you didn't notice at first because you were busy with the conversation, but it's the mark is warm and radiating power to some extent. It's still circular, but it seems to also contain depth. If you get like, it isn't 2D in that sense. It almost seems like a,
Yeah.
a golden emptiness. If you get what I mean, it's almost like staring into eternity, kind of thing.
This sounds faintly uncomfortable. Um, so Jack will stop looking at it.
Yeah. But while you also look, you also get like different sensations going through you, like the smell of your favorite homemade meal. Uh, you know, the sensation of freshly changed sheets on your skin, the warmth of a hug, in addition to the really creepy staring golden wasteland thing. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So overall, this seems good, but reassured by the comfort of this mark, then Jack will take his axe and head down towards these streets.
Are you trying to do this stealthily at all, or just walking down there?
Um, he'll he'll be a bit cautious. He's not being incredibly um
You're not Metal Gear solding your way the
I'm not
entire
Metal
way.
Gear Soliding.
Yeah, but
More
I presume you're sneaking when you actually get to the specific roads in question, maybe. Or
yeah. Yeah, he'll sort of duck down an alleyway and poke his hand around the corner.
yeah. Could you just roll me with stealth? I would say difficulty is 5 because the Umbra is a very confusing, ethereal place. It's not that hard to not want to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Let me have a look. Um, that is one success.
One success, excellent. Uh, so in a minute, like when you come down to the street, you can hear the clamor of battle, and this is a more old school kind of battle. You can hear, the whooshing swinging of a sword because you've heard that now more than once, and
Mhm.
clanks of and physical hits, and you can also hear a miniature little explosion. So what you see as you peek around the corner are three people, but they're sort of flickering at times. Sometimes they look perfectly solid, but at other times you can see binary code just flicker at various parts of their body and then disappear and become solid again. Uh, and these people all look like they've been lost in some kind of Ren fair. Like there's one dude is in the dirt trail, and one is dressed in weird looking chainmail and with some plating, and he has like a sword ready and everything, and a shield on his arm. One dude looks like he's dressed up to be Gandalf, just with a red staff instead of the normal wooden one. And lastly, the one person who doesn't completely look like a Renaissance one looks more like he's dressed up in like fine fashion wear with 2, 3 golden rings on his left hand that seem to be very prominent for some reason, despite the fact that they're just normal bands with a little black stone in each. And
Hmm.
they're just murdering the shit out of a dog spirit that has gone. The dog spirit looks more menacing now, but
I
because it's
mean,
defending itself. But yeah,
yeah, like there's three of them, um, and they're in the Tellurian, so they're in the Umbra. Like Jack is going to keep ducked down his alleyway until they finish killing the dog and see if they start talking at all.
now that's once again where it gets weird. Like when eventually when the talking gets starts, the voices seems like they're coming from very far away, so it's kind of hard to hear from your distance. But they're not that far from you, but they seem much farther away. It's almost like there's some kind of filter they're speaking through. Nice one. Thanks for the rescue. That one nearly had me. Sid seems to be the night person speaking, and the dude in the robe and the dude in the suit is just like, no problemo, man. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna party up. See you around, Tomas. Peace. And the knight just he materializes. Like the number, like he just spreads out into numbers and then fades away.
Okay. He's going to keep observing. He's starting to get a vague idea and see what the others do, or if the others two talk at all.
And the two are moving down the street, and the guy with the golden ring is like, ah, shit, my summoning is not gonna. It's like I have a 5 minute cooldown left before I can bring anything out. So let's not aggro anything, okay? Or, the meat shield is done. And the dude in the wizard outfit is like, fine, fine. Said I'm sorry. Ugh. So they're just. They stop talking after that. They're just walking past you down the street. Um, and they're moving away from you at the moment. They're not. They're trying to be inconspicuous, but they're really bad at it. And
Okay.
they're crouch walking for some reason.
Yeah. Mm. Okay, so there's weird video game people. He's met a weird video game person. Before. So he was somewhat cautious because they were terrifyingly powerful. Yeah, so not
Are
in.
you, are you sure you want to follow them or not?
Yeah, he's gonna follow them.
Eventually, like you can just roll again, stack stealth. By the way, just
Mhm.
to for the shadowing aspect of it all. I'm just gonna pull out a book here. Woo,
2
books.
successes.
2 successes, excellent. Now where is it? Here it is. Great. I say as I'm trying to look for the specific thing I wanted to look for. Anyway, like they're crouch walking for like 5 minutes, trying to stick to our roads, stick away from to the sides of the roads and everything. It's really not that exciting of a spying mission. That's until one of the guys lifts up a ring and the ring glitters and suddenly numbers materials, but then green fire opens like a circle on the ground, and up from it, this really terrifying looking dog just crawls out of the flames. It's like covered in a black matted fur with like loads of scars and like it's like piercing sticking out of it and spikes and it's just this looks like dog looks like it's been through hell in a figurative and maybe also a literal sense. Uh, Great yellow, slightly glowing eyes, and everything is just terrifying, and it's huge.
Okay, and is this just something that one of them just casually does?
Yeah, and I was like, well, I can have this around for 20 minutes, and then it goes out, and then the cooldown is away. And I also need to juice up, so let's find one of these monsters to take down. Okay.
Mm. Okay. Gonna shadow them until they find
Yeah.
one of these monsters.
Well, that doesn't take a lot. A car spirit appears And they're like, and this is this is not, it doesn't look like a literal car. It looks like kind of like a car horse hybrid. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, all right, sick 'em, boy. I always wanted to say that. And the dog, rushes at the unfortunate spirit, and it just jumps at it and fights on the dog fight. And the dude with the dude in the wizard costume is points the staff, and he doesn't chant, but like fiery red glyphs start appearing around him, and he points his staff, and it's just like, and then poof, like a bolt of fire of eldritch, not green fire, but it's clearly a natural eldritch looking fire that hits the spirit. But and the ring dude is just standing there with a knife, just waiting. Clearly, none of these are wanting to get into melee combat with this poor car spirit that's just getting ganked.
Mm-hmm.
That's until the fight seems to go well for him. That's until 7 more car spirits show up, and they're like, "Fuck!" and all of them are just stampede/drive right
Okay.
over them.
Oh, so just go straight over them.
Yeah, because we're talking a mass here.
Okay.
So when the mole dogs, the car spirit is running away, but as the dude with the ring is driven over, the dog just disappears, and I can say you can see them laying on the ground, just flickering, and one of them is just like, shit, I'm gonna have to pay to get more respawns. Fuck.
At which point, Jack's gonna head over to the ruins of them with his axe.
What? Yeah, you're heading over to them. They don't seem to notice you at the moment. They're flickering more and more, but they're still there.
Just quickly, in the quick glance as I'm getting close to them, do they have any sort of? You mentioned the rogues like rings, but they have any sort of other weird bracelet or anything on their neck or head or any
Well,
sort of weird Johnny Quest VR device.
there doesn't seem to be any devices on them. What you can see is like their clothing has the clothes seems to be disappearing first. Like the hat, like the wizard hat, is just gone already, and the ring and the staff are also dematerializing.
So yeah, as it gets close, Jack is going to say, before you despawn, who are you?
Looking up at it. Another player. What? You look so fucking normal. What? Like, I didn't know there was a cleric build. One of the rogue dude on the ground is gonna say, and anyway, I'm Sephiroth XX7, and this is Ryan. Come on, you have a username. Nah, let's go with Ryan. It's fucking ridiculous. I put it in when I was 12. Fucking Steam. I was like, yeah, anyways, I'm Sephiroth XX7, and this is Ryan.
I'm not a player.
What do you mean?
Where'd you
An
get the
NPC
game?
It's of Steam. It's like a beta test thing. Like, we got the beta test codes for a game.
What's it called?
It's a Shadow City.
Shadow City.
Well, of course you know that. You're I didn't know they had interactive NPCs like this. Like, I heard some rumors on the forums, but really, that's interesting. Very advanced. I'm gonna have to write that down on the beta test log. Anyway, cheers. And the road just falls apart. And then the wizard seems to have lost more just to see if they're taking as much damage. It's like, ha! Got a dick. Let's see if he left any loot. He's trying to lay over there. He's crawling. He's like crawling, but he's like, he should be dead. He's like all of these gouging over him.
Put his foot on the wizard's bag.
On his back or his bag?
His bag.
Okay. The sensation is very weird to use. Almost like a slight electrical current goes through you as you do that. And At that point, the dude, disappears. Clearly run out of health.
Yeah.
But the bag lays there because you are sort of anchoring it with your foot.
Okay. I'll have a
Uh,
look in it.
there seems to be, some items here. Like, there mostly seems to be tiny little jewels that. Roll me perception awareness, by the way, as you're doing this.
Mm-hmm. One success, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's latent spiritual energy coming from all of the items. Like this is not normal matter
Yeah.
as you're pulling them out. There's some little jewels. There's what seems to be a leg, like an entire leg of some kind of animal. It seems to be some kind of like feline leg, and there's pieces of wood, pieces of asphalt, and other items. Strangely, not a lot of. There's no modern technology in the bag. But the closest you get is there's an aluminum rod.
What strange loot.
Do you let go of the bag or do you just keep holding it?
I'll keep holding it.
Yep.
Take it back to Lord Asphalt.
Well, Lord Eiffel will appear to you again. Just go up from the ground. And it's like, I saw the encounter. Talk of players. Strange. He looks down at the bag. Sniffs. These items are even stranger. He will pick up and hold them in front of his face, just staring at them, the pack, and they are almost like pieces of ephemeral, but hardened. They're infested with something that keeps them from discorporating.
I believe that the people are projections of humans. By Lord Asphalt.
Really?
Yes.
Strange. Astral mages, you think?
No, they're using some kind of device. I'll have to look into it more on the other side.
Well, I thank you for this first step, at least. He holds the bag, and then he lets go of it. And the moment he lets go of it, it starts to discorporate again, and he snatches it again, anchors it, and you can see that the sparks of electricity are going along Lord Asphalt's arm, and he reaches down to it. I apologize. I seem to have made it more unstable. Take it.
Okay, I'll take it.
Good. In time, if you find more, I will know, and you will be rewarded for your service when you have helped more. I guarantee it. Chiminage must be honored, after all.
If your people can do so, if they can manifest a grey circle above themselves, then these people should be less of a threat.
Some might, but illusions aren't necessarily all our forte. But thank you. I will see what I can do.
I will see you again, Lord Asphalt.
He bows. This just respect figure I'm going for him is very just sinks back into the earth, just melding in with the roads.
Mm-hmm. Jack will head back to the chantry.
Yeah, excellent. So you head back. Do you have any plans in mind, or do you want to end it here?
He's just end it. He's gonna Google this game. He's just gonna
Now,
when he gets back to the chantry. Just
that's the thing.
Shadow
Like,
City on Steam.
yeah, like that's the thing. On Steam, it doesn't appear when you Google it. Like, there's no early access or anything. When you Google it, you will see some forums. Like there will be like a Shadow City forum, like talking about the beta, but
Okay.
there's no website or anything at the
Okay.
moment. At the moment, talking most about the game. It's like talking mostly as a basic hack and slash seems to be the general consensus. The premise seems to be you are people emulating fantasy heroes trapped in a city taken over by monsters and demons, and you're trying to liberate it by slaughtering these entities. That seems to be the general premise.
Okay. So there's no central website. It's just sort of Reddits and things like that.
Yeah, the only Reddits and things like that really mention it, but even then, it's one of those like really bad corners of Reddit.
Yeah.
It's like it's next to r/atheism and really like right wing groups for the most part.
Yeah.
So
No. So he'll like not much of a lead there.
could you roll me intelligence compute? Do you have computers?
I don't think I do.
So you can only do basic Google.
Yeah, I don't have computers. Um. Yeah, I've. Hmm. Um. Yeah. So he's kind of a bit stumped, to be honest. So we might have to end the scene there.
Yeah, gonna end the scene here, and then we have to get shit going with the others. There's things to talk about. Yay, things, and end broadcast.